Hello everyone and welcome to another Division 2 video. We continue with the league playoffs, this time in Division 2, and we have two great players here. On the left, in the red, we do have a Green playing CIABG on Maverick Income, and on the right we do have TheMintJellyMan playing 5th Gebirgsjäger on Vanguard Income. Now both of these have changed their names, but don't get fooled by that. So I do want to introduce them a little bit more thoroughly now that we are into playoffs. So we have Green, who's actually organizing this whole tournament. So a huge shout out to him and a big thanks for doing that for us and putting in the work. And on the other side, you have the TheMintJellyMan, who is a pretty decent player that has not been playing in tournaments that often until the last couple of months. I've started seeing him more and more often. That's definitely interesting too. Now, game one was actually won by the TheMintJellyMan, so this is deciding, because if the TheMintJellyMan wins this one too, he will continue into the semifinals. Otherwise, Green has another chance of actually turning things around in a potential tiebreaker. So with that out of the way, I just quickly want to go through two things that I think are important to mention. The first one is I've taken a look at the polls. So for the deck building, nothing's going to change because the vast majority wants to keep things as they are. And for the deployment, there's basically two major factions, the bigger one being leave things as they are, and the other one being keep things short. Now, the problem is these are mutually exclusive. So I think the best fix for now is, or the best solution for now is to keep things as they are, but make sure that I really introduce timestamps now into the video so that those who want to skip ahead can do that. Also, whenever the deployments are pretty standard for a map and there's just not much to talk about, actually, I will just show them real quick and say that they're standard and keep things short. That's the other thing. Now, the second thing that I do want to talk about is that the next week and maybe, not guaranteed, maybe the week after will be short 2 weeks with only two videos because I will be quite busy then. I'm actually having some days off, but they are not there to make videos. Unfortunately, I will be quite busy. So yeah, there's a little bit less content there. I hope you can forgive me. But with that, it's finally time to go to the decks now. And we are starting off with 5th Gebirgsjäger, a really nice division that you can actually have a lot of fun with it. I have been sleeping on this division until the TheMintJellyMan has brought it to my attention, and holy moly, this thing is still strong. It used to be an absolute terror division that you don't want to fight against. It still can be, though. In the recon tower, you have to give Gebirgsfusilier a nice chunky sniper unit, some SPWs with the autocannon, and some more Gebirgsfusilier. In the infantry tab, we have lots of special things. We have the Gebirgssturmpioneer, which is actually quite nice because it does better than the regular Sturmpioneer, which has Berettas, and it is 5 points cheaper. So that's a nice little unicorn unit there. In that sense, you get the Gebirgsjäger Streif, which is an MP44 unit, a junky one with some MG42, so that's pretty strong as well. The Gebirgsjäger is just a hybrid unit, but a decent one. It has some good firepower overall. For 25 points, a little bit more on the more expensive end, but if you see what he can do, you will definitely understand. Then you have the Gebirgsführer, which is one of the leads that you actually want to have fighting. It has a sniper and it has a bazooka, so this thing actually slaps hard. And then yeah, we just get more of those in B and C phase throughout all the phases. So you can see you have a good amount of infantry in A phase, but you can actually run through that very, very quickly. Then some more in B phase, and that's about it. Tank tab, it is very, very limited. You don't have that many things there. We do see a Stück M42 and the Stück 3, and that's about it. So there's nothing with good pen in A phase, which is very interesting. It can definitely be problematic. In support, we get another Stück M42, but don't get fooled. This thing is actually not that good. Its pen is very limited, 60, 50, 60, 70 maybe even millimeters. The other one is 90 at a 1750 meter range. This one is a significant downgrade. It's also cheaper. We have the IG Gebirgs IG-18, which is quite nice as well because it has more heat shells. The accuracy, unfortunately, is not increased, so it will still miss most of those, but it has more. So that's a start. Then we have the MG42 and a Commander. And in the AT tab, we have the Puppen. Note that we do not see any Panzerschrecks, which would still be nice, but of course, because if you have to get Gebirgsführer, you don't necessarily need them. You can use that instead. And the Puppen gives you a little bit more range and can one-shot many things as well. So that's definitely nice there. Pack 40s in A and B phase. Definitely going to be needed against CIABG. AA tab is very, very weak. You only have 20 mils. It's definitely something that can be exploited. However, the thing is this, if you start air spamming with Gebirgsjäger, you will just get counter air spammed, first of all, and second of all, you're still going to lose on the ground because you have to invest so much. Like, you have to invest planes to killing 25-point units. That's really not that efficient, and that you're just going to get pushed to death. So you're air spamming 50 base basically when you start winning anyway. Probably not before that, and if you do, it's probably not going to end well for you. But yeah, it's just 20 mils. Now, these actually, I have played against him in TheMintJellyMan when he used those, and up close, they can absolutely shred any tank. I've had that experience, so these are actually quite dangerous. I'm not sure if they actually get an AP stat, but they can kill. Artillery time, we have the 105. Now, he actually explained this to me, so this is, he used it as 2K because it doesn't bring the LG in a support tab because there's no room and the artillery tab is cheap. Then we have an early SK 18 and then the 150 with ammo. So this is where the ammo is sitting in this deck. Personally, not a huge fan of it because it makes it very expensive getting those. And if you need the ammo or just the 150, you have to buy both, which is always a bit inefficient. Air tab, we have some fighters, then BF-109 fighter bombers, cluster plane, and some tank busters as well. So of course you need to work around the fact that you don't have that many tanks. So you need some sort of mobile AT, which comes in the air tab in this case. On the other side, we do have CIABG that has once again not been banned. I'm quite surprised. It has been picked a few times now in League, which means that people don't ban it as often. And it's very surprising. I still think it's very, very strong. And I also made the mistake of thinking that on Orsha East, this is not a threat. And yeah, it was a struggle. For those of you who have seen that video of me playing against it, it was a struggle. And if it weren't for the skill difference, I would have lost that game. So in the recon tab, we do have the FF4 Fumarin. It's just a recon unit with some submachine guns and the Panzerfaust, nothing special. Then the Daimler, which you can do some transport sniping with, and Bully, the Stug M42s. Of course, some Stuarts in B phases. And then in the infantry tab, we do have the converted RAF. Quite chunky disarmed infantry with a decent machine gun actually for the Commonwealth. The Motostrelci, which is basically just a rifle, motorized rifles. It comes in with the not 50 cal half track, which sucks. Then we have the Sinistra, which is a decent CQC unit, also coming in with the half track. And then we have just the crappy French and UK units. We have the FF4 Fusilier, and then some converted gunners and more of the Fusilier. So that's about it. All cheap, but all not that good. Tank type, we have tons of steers, which actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because what 50 Gebirgs does well is just spam infantry everywhere. Now there's limitations with these stewards; they can get killed easily by Stug 42 M42 or something like that. But it can hold on infantry quite well, and it costs about as much as the Gebirgsjäger costs. So it's not too bad, and it's going to be really a brick wall. It's going to be super annoying, and um, it requires some investment, so that makes a lot of sense. And then we have some Churchills, Cromwells, and the up armor Cromwells in A phase, which is good if you have them in A phase, and then you can rush them forward and get some value out of them right from the start. And then in B phase, he follows up with the Churchill 7s, also up armor. These are going to be even harder to kill. The Cromwell 7s can definitely be killed by a Stug, but the Churchill is not directly. You would need the plane or some AT gun for that, and then just some more Cromwells in B and C phase. Support to have tons of machine guns, two cards of MG42 and the Vickers in A phase and the Vickers in B phase, and then of course the HE Cromwells to bolster up the HE capabilities of CIABG. Makes a lot of sense because you kind of need to be able to hold off that spam. So having some actual firepower that your infantry is lacking kind of makes sense. And then the AT tab we have some 6 pounders and 17 pounders. Note that we haven't actually seen the Firefly in the tank tab, but it is a fair decision to take the 17 pounders because truthfully, yes, it might actually be helpful against a Stug at some time, but I think the 17 pounder 6 pounder should be able to do that job as well, so you don't necessarily need it. The A type is quite filled, which makes sense against 50 Gebirgsjäger, although I feel like that when you invest too much into A, you're just going to get swooped off the ground. We have some Crusaders, Bofors, and the 88. In that artillery tab, we do have an artillery leader for some leadership. Where the stewards cannot go, recon in B phase, and then we have the 25 panel, which is very, very odd. So first of all, no A phase artillery, no big guns, but that's okay. These things are quite good with radio, but they do not come with ammo. There's nothing else in here that comes with ammo, so that's actually terrible because it is a terrible investment. Then you have 40 shells, that's decent, but it won't that won't pay off. That's not worth 75 points. Let's put it that. You need the ammo. The air type, we do have the Spitfire Recon, which is good because it's also a fighter. And then we have tons of Spitfires for the spam, I guess, because they're cheaper and you get more than the Typhoons, as well as some more Typhoons. But you're probably going to have to limit your air spam anyway against 5th Gebirgsjäger. And here we are back again on Orsha East. So Orsha East, we have seen it very recently, is of course a more red-sided map because red can relatively easily push blue off that hill. Blue is just less hill to work with. Now, at least in that crucial part of town, and especially, and this is even more important, you have less town to work with. It's less cover, you have a little bit less dense forest here than over here, and that makes a massive difference. Otherwise, both sides can either relatively equally push here or here, so it gives you lots of options how you can play this. So down south, we just see a little push by some converted RAF and Motor here. So this is relatively defensive. No CKC doesn't try apply the push, but he tries to transport snipe with the Daimler. Now on the other side, which is, I think it's fast. Yeah, it's 80 kilometers an hour. On the other side, we do have the SBW pushing forward as well. We do have an IG-18 in special spot here, I guess, as he's trying to stop the potential Daimler push. He definitely plans to push later on. We also have a leader with a D bazooka, some Gebirgsjäger, and then some Gebirgsjäger. Now, in the center, this is what's going to be interesting. So the TheMintJellyMan just pushes hard here with infantry. We have a lot here because, of course, that's distributed everywhere, but we definitely have a lot of infantry going here. We have some support weapons, so these two are probably either AT or support weapons. I haven't checked this close, probably machine guns. We do have an SPW and then some armor pushing there as well as an early AA piece, and probably to shot down at that recon plane, or not shot, actually shoot it down, but like prevent it getting any more info. We're gonna see one unit going here, so probably try to poke for this flag as well. And this is very interesting, very defensive deployment I've not seen before by anyone. It's not actually going into here, but into here instead, which gives you a good bit of cover, like concealment, unless someone pushes across that hill, which you shouldn't be able to probably. But also you might be able to actually stop anyone from pushing across here, and that might actually be able to hold that flag as well. So definitely interesting, and we do have some things. Do you have SPW? No, one of the Stooks or something like that going over here, yes, for some protection. Up north, we only have one Gebirgsjäger to cover that off. Very interesting choice, very risky, but of course, this is not where you would expect CIABG to push, so that might actually work out. Now, Green, on the other hand, goes not super aggressively, rather defensively to have tons of machine guns. Of course, the problem for Green is that all of his infantry is in slow transports, except for the Motostrelci and the Zeniste, I guess. The Zeniste are going here to grab the town here. I mean, it's a CQC/hybrid unit, so it makes a lot of sense. And then we have some stewards already out here, and the Daimler pushing forward for some transport sniping. That's about that. And up north, we do have a nice deployment up here, so he's trying to contest that area. Trying just to hold this flag in the defensive position. We do have an MG42, and then we do have a 6-pounder early here to cover that road, pretty typical, and then just some defensive deployments to keep that flag as well. So I think with that, let's hop into the game and see where we're going. Now I also want to repeat while things are driving, so I'm going to use that time for this specifically so that the video is not longer than it needs to be. I just want to remind you guys that if there's going to be this video that Koenig suggested, and I like the idea that some well-known players can let us know what their favorite division is and shows their build of that division, and comment on why they build it that specific way. So anyone who is appeared in casts from either Takbar or myself a couple of times, I think, has the right to consider himself a well-known player in the community. This is especially true for all the top players, even if you haven't been shown very often. If you're one of the top players, Div 1, Div 2, I think you 100% belong to that category. So yeah, feel free to message me on Discord, and then yeah, do let me know. Things are loaded here down south. Gebirgsjäger might be able to force off that Daimler. SPW might be able to contest it as well. IG-18, unfortunately, no line of sight. Champagne do have smoke that could potentially throw that. Up north here, oh, there's actually a leader. I haven't noticed that. So he has a sniper to block things off, and if you try to drive past here, you're going to get the bazooka. Interesting choice there, but it might actually work out. Oh yeah, we have to recon with the sniper together with the MG42. Might be able to do a good bit of work here. But I actually haven't noticed that these guys are rated too. Just asking this, you got MG42, but of course machine guns are not the rated unit of choice. I mean, it's good to have them, don't get me wrong. Rated trade for free is never a bad thing, but it's also not the most overpowered thing, because of course it's not the infantry that's going to push and just hold flag. A radio trade here is definitely going to be useful. That's one of the things that makes the Gebirgsjäger so annoying. I think the regular ones have, yeah, I think everyone has it. Because of course that means that you can push into, even if you will push very aggressively forward with infantry units everywhere all the time, basically, or very often this is what you do with 50 Gebirgsjäger. And you can also easily grab flag at ground and hold ground, right? I mean, you have radio trade, so even if you get cut off, you're still holding ground. So that's definitely very key here. MG42 here goes down. These two MG42s already went down as well. Converted RAF is pushed back. Daimler, I don't think, has managed to snipe one transport. That might have been that Gebirgsstreif there. Daimler down south here died. Gebirgsführer showing its power by just sniping some of these poor converted RAF. We do have Modern Strelzy as well as the half-track pushing forward, cheekily grabbing that flag, bring it to 13-11, but that can be easily fixed. SPW is on the way to do just that. Gebirgsjäger, of course, until then can re-grab the flag, but of course you need something to do with the half-track. This Gebirgsjäger might actually be able to sneak in position. I'm not sure if he's trying to do that. Doesn't look like it yet. Even though the cover difference is there, I think this should win against the Motostrelsi, although the Bren kills fast. That's the power of the Bren. Well, not if the half-track gets involved. In that case, it should lose. The Bren kills fast, right, with the accuracy. So that's the danger. So if you're actually out in the open, that's what you have to be concerned about. Yeah, look at the damage that it's taking. I mean, it's two machine guns versus one that's out in the open, so it's not surprising. That's not necessarily the power of the Bren that we just saw, but it definitely helps. M42s here being positioned very aggressively. The Stuarts can pen them. I mean, they only have 50 armor. The Stuart has 70 pen. They should be able to easily deal with the Stuarts, though. We have to remember, the Stuart fires like any medium tank, even though it's not a medium tank. Now, these guys, on the other hand, have a 12 rounds a minute fire rate. And it's a medium tank. So that's definitely very, very strong. 13-11 for the TheMintJellyMan. It's again back, already back to 12-12. This flag has been grabbed successfully by just that Motostrelsia. This is the problem if you don't put anything there. We have had some reinforcements up north, but no push so far by Green. I'm just going to call him Jelly. Jelly has so far not tried to put them forward here to re-grab that flag, which would bring him back to the single tick that he definitely needs. One of the 42s did go down. 600s moving into position. Oh, Spalling. More Stuarts to it, thing. Spitfire coming in. 20 mil is in a bad position, but we have a BF-109 already going after that. If it flies over the 20 mil, it might die. Remember, guys, 20 mils do kill. Or definitely can, but I think it's in a bad spot, so it might actually... Spitfire might actually survive. It does. Oh no, still gonna get some burst off. But... no, it gets out. Yeah, that could have been prevented if this thing was a little bit further back, but it doesn't actually see further, right? You have to remember, guys, if you are behind the hill, you don't see super fast. If you are if you are a little bit further behind the hill, you actually see further, right? Because you have a flatter angle that you can look over the hill, so you see things from further away. Still 12-12. I mean, the strong thing, this map, in my opinion, is actually a good Vanguard map. And there are a lot of good players that will tell you that, which is where I have it from. But I do 100% agree, because if you can push your opponent off the hill, and you can do that from either side, it's going to be very punishing. It's going to be super hard for him to get back on. He has to work hard, and it's not so easy to grab ground elsewhere when this is gone, right? You have to actually work hard to grab a lot of ground in other places, so it's not super easy to compensate for the loss of that hill. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. This is why Vanguard is such a good income for that map. Now, of course, you can still play Maverick and have your big push in B phase, but you may have to make sure that you're not pushed off throughout A phase if you play against Vanguard. It's not so much of a balanced map. I hate to say this as a balanced player, but I do not think it is. You can play balanced, of course. You can play any income on any map, but it's definitely more favored towards aggressive incomes. 20 mil, giving up some burst, but it's just going to spend all or waste all of its ammo on that one Spitfire. It's not going to achieve much for it. We have a 105 now in. These are very cheap, and we do have radio here, so they're actually, and the fire rate I think is pretty decent. Oh no, actually not. Don't mind me. I don't remember everything perfectly either, and it's one of those cases where, of course, very wrong. But at double vet, it's okay. And it's cheap, as I said. I mean, 65 points for a 105, that's not too bad. And at double vet, it actually, the rate of fire is actually acceptable. Hawky Big Strife here getting absolutely wrecked. I mean, this is a pretty nice little unit. I mean, look at that. So only 7 men, that's a problem, but 2 MG42s, you have MP44s in towns, this thing absolutely slaps. Outside of towns, well, if you compare it with the regular Gebirgsjäger, it still slaps because of the 2 MG42s compared to any other double machine gun unit. Or at least Axis double machine gun, not so much. The Znister are actually holding up quite nicely, and the half-track can of course support that. We do have a Sturmpinion now pushing, and that can definitely help. Gebirgsjäger he needs to be careful, he cannot really push further. Cromwell 6 here under fire by what? IG-8. What just killed that? Was it the IG-18? No, I didn't see that firing. This thing is not going after that. Oh, the Pack 40 from here? Did it have a cheeky line of sight? No. Was it the IG-18 then? Any campaign? Oh, SPW deletes Steward. Wow. These things, I don't know about these. I know about the SPW222. These can actually be really dangerous for stewards because stewards needs 2 hits to pen, and this thing can actually stress it out and potentially make it run away. Now in this case, not because it didn't get to fire first. If this thing can fire first, so it looks like it can do the same thing as the SPW. I'm not sure if the autocan is the same, but it definitely looks like it can do the same thing. You actually take 1 hit, but you suppress it so fast that then it has to run. You can just finish it off. 1311 still for the TheMintJellyMan, or again. Slowly building up his push. We do have more AA coming, but to be honest, I don't think that. Oh, the Spitfire might actually get killed now against 3 of those. I mean, a single vet too. They will kill that. 100%. There we go. Recon Spitfire goes down. I was gonna say, you don't. Yeah, it is a weakness, but especially now the 30 mils are really cheap, so you can 100% lose your game against 50 BX by air spamming in A phase when you get pushed, because then you just lose on the ground, and you don't make up for that in the skies or like by using your air force, and you will eventually just lose your air force anyway. So that's one of the big problems. But the cheap infantry is going to get pushed back, so there's definitely going to be some problems here for the TheMintJellyMan. Spitfire now going up north where there's no AA. It's definitely a smart choice. So do you have an early commander coming in? A row of SPWs now just pushing this. I know I'm gonna get shit at because I still say SPW and not the SPW AB41, but I just see SPW and I say SPW. I'm sorry for that. It's it just takes a little bit more time and actually makes a difference by actually reading the whole thing AB41. Unless you remember, like the SDKF 71 is a different thing. You can say you know that this is 71 because the AA SDKF set, but other than that, really difficult. This Spitfire kills the BF-109, it's probably going to go down in return. I'm not so sure if that's worth it. Because remember, the TheMintJellyMan can replace that at this point. Green, on the other hand, oh, it survives. Okay, lucky. But Green, on the other hand, is pressured hard right now, so he will have a harder time buying another plane at the moment. And these things matter, you know. But we have reached a B phase, and the TheMintJellyMan has yet to make some more progress. There's no 15-9 yet, and with this income matchup, you can expect, or you should still expect, that to be at a 59 probably by the Maverick player at some point. But we have to remember that the strongest point of any income is always at the end of that strong phase, because this is when everything that you can actually buy has arrived at the front line, right? So in a minute or two maybe, he will be at his peak when everything is at the front line, and then from there it's going to go downhill, of course. We have to, I mean, we've seen this countless times with Maverick, with Vanguard. I mean, you see, look at that, right? The breakthrough is happening right here. That's going to be the 59. He has to be careful because the Modest Rails, he can definitely kill his SPWs. Well, no, if it's just driving through. Is it moving? It is on a move order. That's why. The Gebirgsjäger Strife will waste that. And it can also kill the 50 cal. There we go, there's the 59. Cromwell here might be able to stop that. The Streak M42 can deal with this irregular. Well, yeah, it's the, oh, we can actually check it. It's a crappy one, but it still has 15 meter. It needs to use the heat shell, and it doesn't one shot. That's not great. Accuracy is also not that good. But it might still be able to overpen. I think the rate of fire is still pretty decent. Yeah, still 12 rounds a minute, so it might actually be able to pen that Cromwell nonetheless. SPW just pushing forward. Wow, 16-8 all of a sudden. I mean, this flag still held. We do have one 20 mil now coming in just to cover this slightly, and I've kind of missed that, but it looks like all the infantry that pushed up here has actually been walking all the way through here. It's pretty nice use of MintJellyMan's infantry. I mean, he knows that, especially with the lack of CQC, the CIABG will not immediately try to break through. This is not what you usually do, right? You lose this, you don't try to immediately counter push, you're just gonna get shredded at range. So I'm gonna accept that you lost that. You might push back later in the game, but it also means that you don't need that many defenses there. And I've never actually seen anyone doing it like that, but I definitely see the concept there. It is pretty much what I just described. Very smart use. Definitely interesting to see. AA is moving, but still very close to the hill. So the Spitfire might actually pay off. So this is one of the cases where I guess the air spam is actually going to work. Spitfire also turns the right way. Another Spitfire coming in. I think that might be a little bit too early for the air spam. I do think it is. We have another Gebirgs 105 pushing up, and we have to remember that once again, these are also meant to substitute for the lack of the IG 42, I think it is, or LG, the 2K tool that you can get in the support tab. When I try, so I think I actually play MintJellyMan's deck. He sent it to me when I wanted to give 50 Gebirgs a try, and this thing actually works. I've also noticed it when I played against him, and it's dual purpose. You can use it as artillery, as we see here. It's not just 2K, but it's a nice early positioning, right? Because you can use it as still as artillery, but you have it in a position where if you need a 2K later on to defend, it is in positions I definitely love to see that. That's a very, very heads-up play. Up north, I'm very surprised that we have not seen any bigger push attempts here by Green, because definitely what you could do, right? You're getting pressured here, you're getting pressured here, so one place where there is probably not much would be here. But it's not done much more than just grabbing this HS129 tank buster coming, but lost line of sight on the Cromwell 7. The Cromwell 7 is of course problematic, so this actually requires a tank buster as solution. Either that or a regular Strict 3. But these are only available in B phase, so that's definitely going to be a little bit of an issue. It is forced off by the both of us. We do see the push up north though, so Green has taken a little bit of time to get there, but he is doing the push now. Oh, Stück goes down. That leaves the Pack 40 vulnerable here to the infantry. That's definitely going to be a problem. Spitfire, if it kills that will be that flag loss, maybe even that one. This one is already falling. Still 15-9. That's going to go away very soon. Oh no, Gebirgsjäger is still alive by the might. Oh, and the convert RF has been forced off. The Gebirgsjäger actually stays alive. Gebirgsjäger here is dealing with the Fumara. So recon will be lost here, and we do see reinforcements coming in, but not here. This is where he needs to fix it now. Just to make this bubble go away. There we go, 12-12. Huge. That's huge for a Green. Now, it's not very. These crafts are not very sustainable, but they buy Green some time. We have more Spitfires. He has at least 3 Spitfires in the sky now, I think. One just went back. These 2 are here. Has he lost one? No, just a recon. Gebirgsjäger here, but they failed to kill, unfortunately. This flag here is still held by the Gebirgsjäger, brings it back to 14-10 again. This flag being grabbed again. This is the raider trade for you. Raider trade is so useful. So absolutely powerful. SPW here doing the work. Shumpin here also. Leader pushing forward as well. Can definitely deal with those motors that LC. Gebirgsjäger here just doing the minimal work that he needs to do to hold things off. Gebirgsführer pushing forward. I mean, this feels so wrong, but you can really use these leaders aggressively. Now they're not super chunky, but the sniper rifle is useful. The Panzerwreck is what you need. So getting up close with those is actually a legit strategy. As weird as it seems. 105 going after the Cromwell 7. I mean, yeah, with the AT plane being forced off, that's pretty much the only option he has right now until the Strict 3 comes in. And then he has to be careful because Strict 3 can also be penned by the Cromwell, and is of course much more expensive. But now if we see the FFO Fusilier spam, that's definitely going to be hard to deal with. J-teams are a great tool to deal with all that infantry spam though. It's definitely good to see. 20 mils are going to be used aggressively. No, they're just rediverting, but oh, this might not end well for that Spitfire. No, it's turning the right way. It's gonna go into that 20 mil, but that's okay. Yeah, it's such a tight turning radius. There we go. Let's see if he's... Yeah, the TheMintJellyMan has noticed that because they 100% did not want him to go through there. That could have been game breaking right here. That could have lost him the game right here and now, because then he's just going to get air spammed to death. Right now, it's pretty much open. Green needs to stabilize, but he has the air spam going. If he can make sure that he doesn't lose before the air spam really shows its massive effect, then yeah, he should be good. Wolf going after the going after Spitfire now. It's definitely a smart choice. We do have the HS129 coming in again. Spitfire can of course doesn't know. Oh, he did micro it. I was gonna say you might want to get behind that. B49 tries to get behind it now. 20 mils might kill the Spitfire. Are already in the moves. Is afraid that they get shelled. H129 going after this now. Both are still alive. Spitfire might get on the back of it. I don't think so though. No. 20 mils should still stop it. There we go. They do. And yeah, I think now it's gonna die. It spent too much time on 20 mils. There we go, down it goes. But massive push up north by Green. So Green is pushing it relentless. He has realized that this is the weakness and he's taking advantage of it. He's just pushing forward with half tracks because the H18 can deal with it, but it will struggle. In this case, it might actually work as quite efficient AT though, because I mean it has heat shell, 75 minutes of pen. The Cromwell has 70 minutes of armor, so that's definitely doable. Big push here, we also saw a unit going down transport. Oh, but the H18 kills the Diamond. That's massive because the infantry can now push back in and actually already grab some ground while the Stug is already in the way. 12-12 though, so green stabilizing. Now, it's still a lot of blue on the map and not that much red. There's cheap tools and more expensive tools on both sides, so I think it's too early to make a conclusion of that. 13-11 once again. What did Jelly grab? This flag maybe? Yeah, maybe the converted RAF being forced off made the difference here. Not 100% sure. 14-10 now as he regrabs this flag. Down south, not much. Oh, the half-track might go down to the leader. There we go. Pushes it back, so no aggressive sniper used there. Stug M42 pushing forward super aggressively, but Gebirgsjäger strive here too. I mean, this is how you kind of play this division. You just push. You always push. Just move forward things. It's not that easy. Don't get me wrong. You still have to be a bit smart about what you do. You can't just generally just move forward. But you can do a lot of pressure with this division, because the infantry for what it can do is actually, it is. It's not cheap, but it can do a lot of work for a not super expensive price. So it is cost efficient in a way. It's not necessarily, if you look at the Gebirgsjäger, we have one. It's a single machine gun unit, so it is overpriced. The G43 helps, but it's not the same as if you had 10 men and all of those were rifles. But with the G43s and the 4 MP40s, you can kind of just move and get something going and kind of push and it works. So what? I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but okay. You can kind of just push and you will be able to do something. 20 mils are now moving up here. I mean, he needs to get closer with the 20 mils if he really wants to get anything done. But, I know, because they're on the move. Now they're on a Q move. But because they were moving, they were less accurate, so that's why the Spitfire got out alive. But otherwise, he might have died. We have a bunch of armor here, but there's an SPW to spot for it. Cromwells here can definitely be killed by those 3 M42s. Typhoon now coming. That's of course a very different thing. This thing is not comparable to the Spitfire. That should get in and out. I mean, now it is pinned. Now it's falling back. So what? It's Typhoons are so disgusting. Oh, Cromwell versus Stug. Yeah, at that range, the Stug should, generally speaking, win. Should probably bounce a little bit. It might get penned eventually, but another BF19 coming in. Verity, both are still alive at 1 health. The BF19 might go down here to the Bofors. Yeah, I think he got hit by the Spitfire on the way in. Oh, Spitfire goes down to the 20 mils. 20 mil blob immediately going after the next one. Will probably kill it as well. it's smoking. No, it's going to get out. Very close though. But some very unnecessary air losses here by Green. It still has 30 minutes to stabilize, so it's definitely still not going as bad for him. He can recover. He will need to make up for the tickets here. That's going to be a little bit of an issue, but still very doable. But he needs to be careful with his planes. I mean, not sure why he keeps flying in the center now that he knows that the AA is close. The Typhoon should have told him. So he needs to be more careful. He can make more progress with the planes somewhere else anyway. He could prepare a push here, use the planes for that area. I'll use the planes to support this area right here, especially this right here. So the options would exist. We do have more 6-pounders coming in. Interesting positions. So he wants to bring one up close here, or what? And then one here. I mean, he doesn't unload them yet, so I guess he wants to kind of... He expected when he probably called him that he could win this and then like position it somewhere here where he can cut off the roads. Or like here, and then you can cut off this and this road. The other one maybe... I don't know. I don't know where that one was supposed to go later on. Oh, we might see another Spitfire loss here. There we go. I don't know what Green is doing here. He's throwing it away. I feel like with his Air Force at least. Pack 40 pushing forward. That's a good move. You can cut this off, but I think it's a little bit too late because we have some converter gunners that have already been able to push back in. The Fumarin here for spotting as well. And we have a Cromwell 6 now with HE. Yeah, Pack 40 is moving back out. It's moving out of that position again as Jelly has realized that is very dangerous. The 105 still going after things. See, this is what I meant. This thing is right now out of ammo. And now we have a 160 here. For not so long, it hasn't fired yet. So he either bought this because he wanted the ammo for the 105, or he bought it because he just wanted to have some heavy artillery. Anyway, in C-phase buying an artillery piece, quite an odd choice. But yeah, I mean, we have reached C-phase, and Green has yet to equalize, so that's not a good sign, of course. Up north, you have seen some fighting going on. Overall, oh, nice kill there on the Shigam 42. Has not actually reacted, so it hasn't actually spotted anything yet. Streak 3 here, and no, IG-18 going after those 6-pounders. Definitely nice there. Big Stripe is running low on ammo. Champagne and Leader here in position, but can't push further at the moment. It's not a Spitfire coming in. I'm not sure if this is a new one or if this is one that happened to survive the fiasco that happened earlier. But the 20 mils are repositioned again. He's just driving back and forth. I mean, it's actually smart. I think he kind of looks at... I'm not sure if he's predicting it, kind of, and just hoping, or if he's just adjusting to where he sees planes. But if he realized that this is an area where Green will probably get the most out of his planes right now, and where he, as in Jelly, get pushed off the easiest, that would of course be very heads-up and smart play. Same thing here. I mean, Green was getting back on the hill, so maybe he actually really planned that. Maybe I just give him too much credit. I mean, we all happen to do these plays that we didn't even realize sometimes, but or maybe it's also just random going back and forth so that Green never really knows about the AAs. That would also be a very smart play. But either way, he's putting some good thought into his AA. I love to see that. I never actually considered that you can use them so effectively. I'm gonna be honest here. BX Drive, you regrab this flag as the Stück 3 in a nice position up here, kills the Fumarin. No, regular Fusilier. Oh, 6-pounder kills Stück M42, that's massive. That's not that much armor that's left here. But the Stücks are in some crucial positions. 6-pounder sneaking in position though, that might get a shot off. If the Gebirgsführer doesn't spot for it. We do have Gebirgsjäger now coming in, that might help against that. 59 again for Jelly, wow, that's impressive. I mean, the problem is, so Green is not entirely off hill, but it's basically off hill, right? This is not a hold that helps you easily to get back on the hill, and it might actually be misleading you because you think, oh, I have to sell those holds so I can get back on the hill, but you're just gonna get absolutely shredded as you're trying to do so. Spitfire flies into a blob of 20 mils once again to hit that one Gebirgsjäger life that wasn't actually doing another Spitfire. I think Green is buying more of those. Now this one I can actually understand because I might flip this flag back. It won't because there's Gebirgsjäger Strife here, but it might. The problem is it's going to get another burst off. Not sure if it survives or not. Some fighting going on down here as well. No, it comes out. Yeah, now it has been resupplied. What's it going after? The Cromwell 6. This one is silent at the moment. No pushes down south. At this point, you could probably consider it, but I mean, it's. We know that this is barely defended. Green doesn't know that, and don't think he can know. I mean, he could guess because he's seen these units pushing over here, but do you really know? It's also easy to miss that in the heat of the moment. The commander actually providing a lot of value. We don't see commanders very often these days, so I'm very surprised to see it in the first place, and I'm very surprised for it to actually. I mean, it has definitely had an influence. We have leaders in many crucial positions, so I can't. I will think that it actually made a difference. Another Spitfire coming in. This time the Gebirgsjäger Strife might actually go down. Oh no, it's turning. Why is it turning? Oh, the blob is too close to the hill again though. But he kind of needs to because it's a crumble here, so you have to be a little bit careful. Oh, Gebirgs I-18 going after the crumble, gets the kill. Spitfire going after the Gebirgs Strife here, gets the kill there. Converted gunner here, UK. Might be able to grab that ground now. Stück might be able to stop the Fusilier. Gebirgs Fusilier here versus F4. Oh, Spitfire goes down, another plane loss. These are huge. I mean, we are in the sea phase, so these losses are really hard to replace now for Green. For both sides, really. But Green is taking a lot of these really bad losses. And the Stücks are sitting here and doing a lot of work. I'm actually also surprised. I know that the infantry is more of a problem right now, and you have to be careful because of the Panzerschrecks, but I'm surprised that we haven't seen any of those Churchills. Because I know they're slow to arrive, but I think maybe Green always expected to have a tool there that could help. But so far he's throwing away a lot of units that still don't manage to grab ground. So maybe buying the Churchills would have been better in the long run. Now, of course, we can tell that in retrospect, right? It's not so easy to know that in advance, but just a thought, maybe that would have been working better actually. Does he have vision on that? No. I was wondering. We can actually check. So there's not much vision for Green. There's also not much vision for Jelly. But Jelly has the hill, so he knows that anything that's going to come his way is going to come off over the hill. This is a bit more problematic, but it's not that big of a deal either. Just 129, yeah, the Cromwell is moving. Just 129 has to go away, but we kind of missed it, but the Bofors did die, so the skies are open again for Jelly. Doesn't have the most massive air force, but it still matters. Another leader coming in, more Stück freeze. Up north, he's reinforcing a little bit Gebirgsjäger can. So this is the nice thing, right? They can win against a converted gunner at close range easy with the. Oh, it's a Strife actually. With the 4 MP44s and the G43s will help. 6-man is going to be a little bit of a problem. You have a Puption coming in. That's a nice move there to kill that Cromwell off. Won't do much, but oh, and there we go. Green surrenders after 29 minutes 39 seconds. I mean, understandably, yeah, look at that. Charlie was out trading Green so hard. I mean, it's 1,000 points. Definitely a massive difference. I mean, that's the power of Gebirgsjäger. I didn't expect it, to be honest, because we have seen CIABG as of lately. Uh, it's very, very dangerous. And we're not in the infantry meta anymore. You have to remember that. But yeah, look at that. Daimler got some good kills at the start. But Gebirgsjäger, if played masterfully, is still such a powerhouse. I feel like we've seen him playing. What was it? We've seen Chelly playing Vessel really excellently on Kostrica already. So I think he's really just a guy for these Axis Infantry Division. Looks to me. The Stücks, who doing the work? I mean, the I-18 P49 getting some value early on. I mean, look at that. There's the start, yes, and then there's for a long time. Like almost 11 minutes straight is so much more blue. So this is where TheMintJellyMan, even though he made a bit of progress, but then he kind of stalled, he just got a lot of kills. He focused on trades, got the good trades, and then all of a sudden things were kind of collapsing. Things here were a little bit equal, but there we go, dominated again and again and yet again. Wow, absolutely devastating. So Green, yeah, I mean Green did the classic mistake against Fifth Gebirgs, where you buy planes to kind of stop the rush, and because you think that the AA is bad, so you can kind of take advantage of that. But the problem is, as I said, you're buying planes to kill a relatively cheap assets, and the plane is expensive. Now, it will pay off in the long run, yes, but Gebirgs also has planes that can shoot your planes down. The EA is still existent, and if you overinvest into planes, you just lose on the ground too much because you really need the boots on the ground to stop the push, the constant pressure that 50 Gebirgs gets. And if you if you don't respect that, you will be in the same spot here as Green. So Spitfire got some good kills early on, especially the plane kill is massive, but didn't do much there. The Typhoon also only killed one MG42, and the Spitfire killed one Gebirgs drive. So it's just not worth it. Look at that, the Gebirgs IH-18. I mean, with having so many heat shells, even though the accuracy is not that good, the rate of fire is decent, so it will eventually kill, and that makes this thing so fantastic. It is an incredible piece of well, no, it's an incredible support weapon tool because it can really be your AT against light armor. It's crazy. Or in this case, also crumbles. Pack 40 did some work. The Stug, I mean, these things are just disgusting. Fires so fast, relatively accurate up close. 105 actually killed the Churchill. Some infantry SPW is doing the work. Big strive. I mean, these things can be absolute beasts. Stug 3, of course, was a big problem for the crumbles. So this is where I felt like the Fireflies could have helped. I think we talked about that in the deck. I think I did. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, great game. Hope you enjoyed it as well. Have a great day and see you next time. Thanks for being here. Bye.